Yeah, hi there. It's Billy again from 47 Wolves All I Am. Hope you're well. Today we are welcoming Forreste Lee from Your Life Creation. Beautiful Forrest is a wealth of information. We're going to be talking about self-empowerment, holistic healing, body consciousness, manifesting, which is really interesting viewpoints from that, and touching on a few other subjects as well. So I hope you enjoy it, and thank you again for joining us. Billy here again from 47 Wolves All I Am. I hope you're all well, and thank you very much for joining us today. Today I welcome the beautiful Forreste Lee, founder of Your Life Creation. Thank you very much for joining me, Forreste, and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Billy. I'm so excited to chat to you.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Thank you. As we normally do, we might just begin with a lot of people might not know who you are and your background. So, do you mind sharing your background and your journey to where you are today, if that's okay?
Definitely. So my name's Forrest. I'm currently 25 weeks pregnant, just so
Beautiful.
everyone knows.
Congratulations.
Um, I love that. Always have to announce that. Um, but yeah, I live in Budrum, Sunshine Coast with my beautiful partner. We have an awesome home. Um, but yeah, my background is very much in like energy healing, studied like psychotherapy and counselling. Um, and so now I work with clients using my own modality that I created called Your Life Creation. Um, yeah, so if we look at like my past or my background, um, it kind of started like I kind of got into the spiritual journey, I think, because it's kind of like probably the most important or like the most exciting part of my life. Um, and that started when I was like in my early 20s. I just started seeing like the number 94 everywhere.
Wow. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like the synchronicity that was kind of like this pulling of me towards a certain lifestyle or a certain way of being. And so I really followed that. And it was almost like this psychic experience. Like I would walk past a microwave and it would say like 3 p.m. And I would walk back and it would say 9:40, like a minute later. And I'd be like, what? It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I would look back and it changed back to 3 p.m. So it was really like this, like my psyche was really, really like pulling me towards whatever this energy was. And I decided to follow it. And so the more that I saw it, the more that I intuited that it was for me to start like my healing journey or my journey as a healer. So it didn't come in too much until like my early 20s, and then I decided that I wanted to do something, like I wanted to be a healer in some way. And I met a beautiful person who was a Reiki healer. And so that's kind of where it started. Um, I learned Reiki 1 and 2 early on. I did like a program kind of thing. Yeah, I'm just going to pause for a second.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I can get like excited talking about this.
Oh no.
Yeah, so yeah, I was really pulled by that energy and I just kept following it. And I think I've just kind of kept following it till now, really. And it still feels like this universal life force, like energy outside of myself, even that just keeps pulling and pulling. It's like I'm attached to a rope and it keeps pulling, and I keep learning through like the discovery and the lessons and the spiritual growth that comes along with it. And then that is translated into my work. So, like my modality, Your Life Creation, is like a channeled structure to help people to create insight and to bring like their manifestations into form. Um, so I've had like a really awesome journey. Like along that journey of discovery, I've um, manifestation, especially, like I've won a lot of things. I think that there were like a few years where I won 11 festival tickets or something.
Wow, wow.
It's really profound. Um, and so there's kind of like this awareness or structure that I was able to create around manifestation. Um, and then I studied at uni, and excuse me. Um, when I studied at uni, it was like the practical, masculine sort of drop in around the other part of my modality, which is around creating insight. So I actually learned a conceptual model that teaches how to create insight within a therapy session. So I combined that conceptual model with my own conceptual model around manifestation. And so that's basically what I teach now. I taught level 1 recently in a workshop. And yeah, I have client sessions with people each week. And yeah, that's basically me.
Yeah, no, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
can I ask, because I don't know off the top of my head, 94, what does that mean to you now? And I ask because this podcast is 47 Wolves, and the 47, my story is very similar to yours. I've been seeing that for about 8 years, and I'm curious. It just happens to be double the number of 47, so that's interesting. But yeah, 94, what does that, what's that come to know like for you? What does that mean for you?
Very interesting because I don't think I have I've definitely explored it, and I'll have like little insights along the way of like, oh, that's connected to that, or that means that. But like an overarching meaning, it still hasn't, like, I feel like it's still this process of discovery, like it's an emergence.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we're definitely on a journey, aren't we? I've found that took me a few years to recognise with the 47. Yes, I can look up angel numbers, I can look up numerology and sacred geometry, everything else. But at the end of the day, I have discovered that all I am part of the is encompassing everything that we are and all the facets that make who we are. But at the same time, that's still only part of the journey because we're ever evolving, aren't we? So we're there's no finish line, and yeah, like we say, I love the journey, without being too focused on the results. So yeah, that's beautiful, beautiful. So what it sounds like you've done Reiki, you've done Sikkim, which is the Egyptian style of Reiki. Did you want to share a little bit about your energy? Obviously, being a Reiki practitioner and master myself, that's obviously had an influence on you, the energetic side of things.
Yeah, that's a huge part. I think like part of my modality is that as well. Like it goes into like energy reading. It's very interesting. I think I'm still discovering energy as well. And even though like I teach people Reiki, and it has its own structure and form, but I feel like energy for me is like constantly evolving and changing as well. Like especially just learning how to read and interpret energy. I think did you find like the Usui Reiki and the Sikkim Reiki, like what do you think was the difference between those for you in interpreting it?
Yeah, probably. I mean, obviously the symbols are there's some variations there. Sikkim, from my understanding, it's more it's a softer, more
like feminine.
And not in the traditional male female sense, but just that softness. And not to say Asui's fully masculine or anything else like that. Just a softer variety, I guess. For me, I was the same. I learned Asui first, and the the channeling or being a conduit and learning to recognize the energy and allowing that to flow through, and when you're working with clients, and even doing self Reiki, and just that road to discovery was beautiful. And then along comes Sakim, and we were just talking off air. We had similar journeys where we met beautiful Jackie, who taught us Sakim, and that. Yeah, whether things might have been different if I'd learnt Sakim before Asui, but Asui for me, probably because it was the first one, it's become a bit of a foundation. But it's like you say, it's got its structure and beautiful background, and there's so many areas to it. But I've always said this: Asui to me and Reiki in general seems to have this. It's for me the cornerstone. So it's like the centerpiece, and then other modalities, even doing aromatherapy, medical intuitive, the other modalities I've done sort of runs off that. So Asui and Sekham provide that platform and that structure. But as we know, energy is boundless. So yes, it gives you that structure, but then to always come back to. But then it overlaps with all the other modalities, and I'm sure that works with you with your holistic counselling and
yeah. It's like they all kind of start to blend together and then evolve from there. I've noticed that with my modality. It's like all this learning and the different courses, especially in energy, like it was learning how to conceptualize this psychic experience. And then once that happens, like once you can kind of integrate it and create wholeness with what you've learned, then it's like from there you can just expand but refine it in your own kind of personal expression. And when we talk about like the number 94, like I was talking about, it feels like that for me is like this blueprint. And so it's like I'm continuously like the learning and then refining and developing like myself or my expression of the work. And that just keeps expanding as that blueprint. Or the 94 is the conceptualization of the experience of continuing following that journey.
Beautiful. And I love, Forrest, that you your way of thinking, if it sounds to me, is you're very holistic. Why do you see that as important?
Holistic. I think it's because we each have a subjective experience.
Beautiful.
So if each of us have a subjective experience, then there's going to be like multiple different factors into why we're experiencing something. And I think because I feel like, and everyone would feel like this, that they have a unique experience of life. And so for me, like being able to notice and reflect on and bring awareness to that unique experience, it kind of, there couldn't be like one way to, I guess, help me work through things in that sense. Like, it's like if I have all these, the sum of all my experiences, there's many different ones, then my life is going to be influenced based on that. So if I went to a practitioner, they're obviously going to they're going to prescribe me something or create a solution, but it has to be unique to my experience. And I think that's like the subjectivity.
No, beautiful. And then that flows through to your workshops and your clients too, doesn't it? You don't obviously you've excuse me, obviously you've got a structure of sorts in place of what you do when you maybe have a one-on-one session with someone, but at the same time it sounds like you're very much using your intuition to tap into the person's energy as well, and very much, I don't want to say customized, but you're because of that intuition and you're feeling their energy, then you can work out what's best for them and go down that path that fits into there. So you're not trying to fit them into your model. you're
Yeah.
fitting your model
Yeah.
into there. Does that make is that am I looking at
Yeah,
that right? Yeah.
definitely. I think so like my modality is specifically designed like to help like anyone because it considers like all factors of life or all areas of life like it and all levels as well because like there's like energetic, physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, like there's so many different layers of energy. And something like I kind of recognized this in learning Reiki actually, which was like energy starts as a form. And at first it's energy. So if it's like, penetrating into your field, it starts as energy. And then if it's not kind of addressed at that level, then it starts to become thought. And then the thoughts start to manifest as emotion, and then the emotion starts to manifest as physical, like in illness or injury or chronic condition. And so, if we understand that's how form like evolves, then we understand like there's so many different layers or levels that like we would address that healing, I guess, from to yeah, kind of
Uh-huh.
diffuse that form basically.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful, and I love you can almost work backwards from that, can't you? I guess you meet someone, you've got a client, and there might be some physical ailment or thing that they're going through, but you can work that always back towards energy because you're looking at it holistically, not just saying, okay, well, you've got this XYZ problem or issue or challenge in your life. Let's look at that. Let's put a band-aid on it. Let's give you a pill like the traditional sense or mainstream sense.
Yeah.
Let's go backwards and work energetically and look at the holistic view. And it's all encompassing. So then you have the ability to then be able to say, okay, well, you've got this physical side of you, but what's causing that? What let's go back to the start, and what energy did you create, or what trauma, or what where did this all begin? So then if you tackle it from that perspective, as we know, that can have a really huge positive impact on not just their physical health but everything. And then they get that understanding as well that it's very empowering once you understand that we co-create. Then that empowers them to be aware, have that awareness of how strong and powerful their thoughts and feelings are. Fair to say?
Yes, definitely. I think that's the difference too. Like it's, yeah, say working with like a holistic practitioner or something, like you get the awareness or the consciousness of it as well. It's like, and I like to me that's the fun part, like understanding and like problems solving and it's almost like a game that you can play.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, pretty much we are, aren't we? We are in a game, really. Some might say we're in this avatar suit, and when you do realise that we're just on this earth in a physical body, but if we treat it like a game and not take it too serious, but recognise that we're just players here. What's real, what's not real, but we have that ability because we're spiritual beings, aren't we? Having a human experience. In my humble opinion, we are, and that when we look at it from that perspective, it enables us to not just look at what's in front of us physically, but feeling the energies. And you'd be the same. I know when I meet someone now, even if it's not from a practitioner point of view, I just meet someone. They're talking and they've got their body language and everything else. But I'm more interested in their energy and what's going on at a deeper level, because then you can connect in with them a lot more effectively, even if it's not from a technically healing point of view, but just I find a deeper connection with people nowadays because I'm looking at their energies rather than just who they are on the surface, without judgment, without any of those other things that we're programmed to do, I guess. Yep.
Yeah, it's a different vibration, isn't it? Like yeah, it's awesome. In my workshops, we kind of see the the actual in the moment change of someone's energy shifts. So, they might be feeling really closed, or yeah, of course, their body language, like their shoulders are hunched, or they're looking down, or they haven't talked for a while, or and then they, of course, there'll be the person who's chosen out of the class to be an example for everyone. But like actually being able to witness in the moment, being able to like shift that energy, and then seeing them go from like closed down or hunched to actually like a beaming light, just like brightening and opening up. I think it's really powerful to see like the value in energy, or the change that it can create. And I've loved witnessing that, like through my modality, just in the moment shifts. But you would notice it like in a Reiki session with someone, like they come to the session and they're like their being is just sad. It's like, yeah, the emotions or whatever has come in, and it's kind of like a weight on their shoulders, and then they leave the sessions like, oh, I feel peace, or I feel energized. It's really fulfilling.
Yeah,
As a
definitely.
practitioner.
And
Yeah.
like in a one-on-one, you see that over an hour or so, and you can it might be subtle at times, but you feel that, like you say, that quite often big difference between when they first walk into the room as opposed to when they're finished. How do you find the workshops? You've got like individuals, but the dynamics of a group environment, is that how do you find that from your perspective?
Well, it's my throat, lol. I think the group, it is really different. I've only taught the group workshops whilst I've been pregnant, but I have taught like the group Reiki, so I can kind of have that as a reference to draw from. But I love probably one of like the most favorite things about my work is like something I created, like something I was in a creative project bubble for, has like come to life, come into form, and then witnessing someone else use it as like a way to create those energy shifts or create that healing, is like, yeah, there's in terms of like my career, like I couldn't ask for anything more. Like I just love witnessing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
have you got any? I'm putting you on the spot here, but have you got any examples of transitions or like what benefits, or how you've seen people change in some of your
Mm.
whether it
Yeah,
be
I've
rate?
had,
Yep.
yeah, just I mean, without like going into
And I don't.
people's
Uh,
experience too much,
yeah.
I think like there's some, like I've witnessed, especially relationships, like I work a bit more with mental health now, but before I was working a lot with like relationships. So, and like just realizing how important that can be, and how much it can like change someone's whole trajectory of
Yes.
their life. Um, like there was one person who I like our therapy session even went over because there was just like this massive feeling like I need to be here and show up for this person right now, and it is beyond the boundaries of the therapeutic system. But it's like, and that person, I felt like I really, I gave them like my 100%, and they had a disconnected relationship with a family member, so they actually hadn't like talked to that family member for years. And in that session, even though there was like a lot of tension, there was a lot of emotion that was being expressed, there was still like, we got to the point where they were like, okay, I'm going to talk to this person. And it was a lot to get there. But then I found out a few months later that that family member actually passed like a month or two after. So they reconnected with that family member, and then that family member passed. And so, like, to me, that was the really like rewarding part in my career. It was like creating connections, like creating that reconnection. Because I think if that person, you know, like if they didn't have that reconnection, like that really would have changed the whole trajectory of their life. There would have been so many unanswered questions, so much like regret, like, and the emotion would still be there, I guess, and it would expand into more depth and become like a complex trauma. So yeah, I guess that's just something that I've witnessed.
That's super powerful.
Yeah,
That is
it's
super
not
powerful.
really like, I healed their, you know, chronic condition or whatever, but it's like well, actually, if we look at it in a scale of their whole life, like really, you know, what could have happened. Yeah, so.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. Thanks, Forrest, for that. And yeah, I did put you on the spot, and I didn't want to divulge any personal information from anyone, but yeah, it goes to show the power of what you do. You can't underestimate the power or the beauty of reconnection, like you said, and that healing that they were able to get for them and the other person before they passed, their family member. Like you say, if that hadn't happened, there would have been some ongoing trauma, whether they recognise that now or down the track, it would stay within them. They would have been suppressing that, and obviously they had for a period of time leading into meeting you and being able to, you know, whatever you did to help them bring that out. And of course, each individual would be a different journey to get there. But yeah, quite often we, you know, from a small child, and we have our experiences. We've all got our stories and traumas and everything else, and we learn as, you know, as a boy to you can't cry, you can't express your feelings, and even girls these days. So we've all we reach adulthood or we reach whatever age, and we've still got all that within us, and we don't even recognise that. So all our beliefs, our behaviours. Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
So that has we don't recognise in individual. Oh, bless you.
I'm just having like a sneezing fit over here. So sorry.
No, that's fine. No problem. Completely all good. all natural things. Yeah. Are you okay? You right?
Yeah. I'm like.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing because it's funny.
It's all happening. Yeah. I think what you do there for people is oh, bless you again. To be able to bring that up in someone and allow them to explore that, and to be able to not only heal themselves, but the power of what I find with Reiki and other modalities, and what you're doing is, because you've got that holistic point of view, you're healing them, but because it's all energy, because we're energetic beings, everything we do, everything we feel, everything we permeate out has an impact on everybody. Not just locally, our family, our friends, our work colleagues, but all around the world. So if that is, if you believe in that, which I do, and I know you do, then for them to be able to heal, not just heals that circumstance before that family member passed away or transitioned, but from this moment moving forward, that's going to have an impact on every single interaction, relationship that they have going forward, because they've had that healing.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the ripple effect that it would create as well. But yeah, I love it. Yeah,
And then I
it's very
mean,
true.
then we get into a deeper level. We've got past lives and things like that. I know a lot of the indigenous cultures believe in the seven generations. So I've talked to many people recently about that. That we seem to be on this earth at this time. We've chosen to do a lot of the healing and to be the stopping point for our heritage or our lineage to heal, not just for ourselves but for all past traumas as well.
So were you talking in terms of like ancestral healing?
Yes, I was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how it impacts the timelines.
yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I think like it is a big part of like my modality as well. Like it's, when we talk about those layers, there's like, the energetic, physical, mental, etc. There's also incorporating the timelines into it too. So there's past life in this life. There's the past in this life. Then there's past life, and then there's the future in this life, and then future lives. And then I also believe that there's alternate timelines as well. So those are kind of like I guess, the areas that I work on. And I think that whether you're working on those or in the present, it doesn't matter. Like it affects all of those timelines. And I think that, yeah, it's so powerful to see the shifts in those as well. Like if you, like I was saying before, shifting energy, in a workshop, we do an example as well with someone who's has like a emotion or some kind of block held in a past life as well. So we actually see the physical shift in their body as well, which I think is even more, because they've been holding it for so long. I think the shift in that is really profound to witness, just in the moment, to be able to witness, that they kind of look like this, like, person from ancient times that have like that are like hunched over, and then to go into the neurology of that. Like they actually are in that neurology. You can see if you talk to them, like the way that they speak and everything. And then to witness that shift in their neurology to this present moment, and to see them come back to their like current cognitive function, is just like, wow, there's such a shift in that. And so I think that, say if someone is like on a journey where they, if you have like a long-term client, they're on a journey of kind of shifting all those timelines and things, like the way that they change and the way that their life changes over the course of that journey is just profound. Like going from, you're seeing people go from, like being, like having really strong aversions to things, like say, like having children or aversions to their family, things like that. And then over a course of that, spiritual journey, then like actually having children themselves and being an amazing parent and like, being on top of, or just enjoying their life in a unique way. It's really powerful.
It would be, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I noticed on your website, excuse me, you promote the body's natural ability to heal. So how do you go about that from your perspective?
I think it starts from like our cells. Like I think that it's kind of like if we instruct ourselves or we give our cells directions, they will like actually support us in a way. Yes, I think, and I've learned from one of my teachers, Jules O'Neill. She teaches body consciousness, and she's like one of my greatest inspirations. But she has a concept of like, talking to your body, like asking your body, like, hey, can we work on this together? Or like as if it's, a partner or an energy form or a business, or So actually seeing like your body as this, I don't know, like potential, that relationship with your body, I guess, is like it's impactful on the way that it grows and experiences. Like it's the same as, us just innately create, like women creating children in their body. Like it's the same thing. Like they have this capacity to grow and rebuild and restore. And yeah, it's amazing.
Beautiful.
Our bodies are amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, and we can be the mainstream or traditional way of going about life is just we eat and we exercise, or we don't, or we go about life day to day however we like, and then we react if we get sick or if we have a dis-ease, as we call it, or an illness. Your method there, and I love it, is that it's by, some people might think it's a little bit out there, but talking to our bodies, at the end of the day, we are a spiritual being having this human experience. So it's almost, yes, there's that connection, but you can talk to your body as if it's another, like you say, a partner. And if we do that proactively, and like a small child, it wants to be acknowledged, doesn't it? So if we get them included, and our bodies included in the process, and that not just energetically but physically, what do you need? What do you need for me to optimize us together? And by doing that proactively, I would imagine that has a huge impact, and not just physically, but all the other components, your emotional, spiritual, mental health, like you said.
It's the communication. Like and people, I think it's because the way it's almost like a mass consciousness limitation, how we don't really consider some of these things, like even a baby or a child or a business, for example. It's like we don't take into consideration like what the energy of that wants.
Yes.
Like where, like especially a child, we look at parenting and stuff. It's like the adults are the authority rather than a co-creation or like a harmonious it just comes back to like hierarchical systems, basically.
Yeah.
If I can put it in like any way, it's like when there's a hierarchical system, it's like they're actually, it's someone telling the other people what to do, or telling, or controlling them. Whereas like if we see it as kind of like relationships where everyone is equal, and can kind of meet their heart's desires, we can all kind of be in this interconnected web of harmony. But if we look at it that way, then of course we're going to consider, communication from a baby or a business or a body. And I think that I guess that's what my modality does, is it bridges that communication, because obviously it's like we receive it energetically, or in a psychic way or whatever, rather than verbally.
Yes.
But there's so much more than what is verbal. Like exactly.
Yeah. So and the power of the word as well. So when you, from your point of view, when we're talking to our body, are you literally talking? Like, are we verbalizing out loud to our body, or are we just sort of from a mind point of view, just talking to our body mentally, or a combination of both?
Yeah, so I basically use muscle testing. So it's a way. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So it actually, basically, our body will create like pulses, and you can kind of discern following those pulses until you get the awareness, basically. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. And do you teach people, Forrest, how to do that for themselves?
Yep. Yeah. In the workshop.
Beautiful.
I do. Yeah, definitely.
That's so empowering. One of the biggest traditional models, I suppose, is and what we've become programmed or accustomed to is being relying on external help. So people go to their GP or go to, even if it's a specialist, and we ask for them to help us in whatever modality that there are, and in some cases prescription drugs and things like that. But yeah, I think it's more and more important that we do have that self-empowerment, and I love that you're teaching that, because when people finish your workshop, or even if it's a one-on-one session, the empowerment and the change, not just energetically but mentally, for them to walk away going, okay, I've got this. Yes, of course, there's times where you have to reach out. No person's an island, but to receive that help from someone is fantastic, and it's a gift both ways. But also to have that beautiful self-empowerment to know that it's within you, so you don't always have to look externally. You've got this. You actually have the ability to heal yourself. Yep.
I think it's like access to the universal intelligence. That's what I call it.
Yes.
Like because our bodies, they operate on like this universal intelligence. When we like muscle test, we're communicating with them, so we're communicating with that universal intelligence basically. So we have access to all wisdom, all information, and all possibilities. And yeah, beautiful. I don't know where I was going with that.
No, that's all right. That's beautifully well done. I'm thinking back to, and this is the importance of Reiki, I suppose, whether it be Yusui or Sakim. I always found, or the way I was taught, is that we're a conduit of that universal energy coming through. We're just a conduit that then goes in, but ultimately it's not us healing. We're just we're just a conduit for that energy to come through onto the person. And like you say, even the word psychic ability is really tapping into that universal knowledge and wisdom, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah.
And so you're by doing that and showing that in your workshops and even in your one-on-one, you're allowing other people to see that within you, and then hopefully they're picking up that they too have the ability. We all have the ability to do that.
Definitely. Yeah. My awareness just went to your next question. I didn't know if you were going to still ask me or not. What inspires you to do what you do?
Yeah, I'll get onto that soon. Before we do, I just wanted to quickly tap in. You mentioned in the early parts was about manifesting. I'm very curious about that. How do you manifest? What's your take on that? How does that work for you?
Cool. Yeah, I can share some tips.
Yep.
So the way that I do it a little bit differently, but this was the base structure. So have you heard of Anadea Judith? She's the chakra queen.
Right. Okay, yeah.
So she teaches a lot about the chakras, and she said that we have two energy lines. So our one going upwards is into liberation.
Okay.
So it's kind of like working through the chakras into enlightenment.
Yes.
And then the other energy line, though, is bringing it into form. So it goes down. It's the feminine line, and that's into manifestation. Okay. So she basically teaches that. So when it's in our crown chakra, it's in the universal intelligence. So there's like a potential idea or a potential form of energy. And then if we bring that down to our third eye, then it becomes like an idea or a possibility. So we'll start thinking about, I'm thinking about creating a course around money manifestation. So it'll go there. And then the next step of manifestation would be to start to talk about it, or to, so it comes down to the throat chakra. Yeah, so we'll start, and I think this is a huge part of manifestation anyway, but you have to be able to speak what you want. You have to be able to go, I'm thinking about doing this course, etc., and just talking it out, you're kind of shifting the energy that's there. Yeah. And then it goes down to the heart chakra, which is creating the either creating the relationships to make it happen, and that could be like partnerships or things like that, depending on what it is, or it's clearing the emotions around it. So it could be like grief of a project that I've done before or something. Or the way that it's worked out before. And then from that place, you go to the solar plexus, which is, sorry. So the solar plexus is backing like the beliefs that you can do it. So it comes from that like I, the self, the empowered place to be like, yeah, I'm going to run this course. I'm great at facilitating presentations. I'm blah, blah, affirmations, belief, all those things. And we do this unconsciously, right? Whenever we create something. But this is when you have the structure, it's like, oh, where am I at? You can muscle test. Okay, I'm at the 4th level. Okay, there's a block that I need to work on around that. Let's look at my emotional body, etc. But then we go to the sacral, which is all about movement. So it's like the watery sacral energy. So that's like creating the it's a whole process. But so it's like creating the movement of things happening. It's starting to get it into form, it's like the beginning of it. So you'll start talking like, hey, and I think if we're looking at this as you consciously doing it, you would start responding to the energy that's coming in. Like someone might ask you like, oh, hey, you doing a workshop coming up? And then that's the movement where you'll either be like, yeah, or you'll be like, talk about the dates and things. Maybe they can't do that date. So you're kind of like moving and shifting to adjust the experience into alignment. And then once that happens, it's physical form. So it's at the root chakra. So that's earth, 3rd dimensional. It's real. It's on a piece of paper. It's,
Beautiful. Yeah. I haven't heard that explained that way, and I love it. Yeah, that's beautiful. Well done. Well articulated. Thank you.
Lost my breath because I'm pregnant, but I got there.
You've done really well. We appreciate all the efforts. All right. We might get on to the next one. And so what is your why, Forreste? What inspires you to do what you do?
So I think like I'm also an artist and creative as much as I am like a healer or therapist. So yeah, creating my modality especially is like, it sounds bad because I'm like, oh, it should be about, wanting to help the world and things like that. But actually for me, it's like, I love the creative process. And especially with my modality, because I'm working on the 2nd level at the moment. And when that happens, it's like all of my experiences are designed to give me the information to channel the parts or the levels of the modality. So like in my first one, especially, the 1st level, it was very much around mental health and being able to support people with, who have kind of mental health symptoms and being able to like reduce and manage those symptoms. And that it was so interesting because whilst I was going through the process of creating that, I would actually go into like the energy of what the experience of having that condition is. So it only briefly, like say, it'll come in and it's kind of hard to experience, but it's hard to describe. But it, so like, for example, because part of what it is, it's like balancing these symptoms. So mental health conditions like schizophrenia, for example, the energy of that condition would come in. And so it would be, and this is only like, say, like 5 or 10 minutes. Like, it's not like, it wouldn't be for an extended period of time, but I would actually go into like the neurology of what that experience would be. So for like a brief moment, I would experience it, but consciously having the awareness, so then I could like interpret how to balance that symptom or balance that. So then I have the embodied experience, right? And once I do that, then it's channeled into like conceptualizing the energy and being able to support someone else in that, I guess. So yeah, the creative process for me is like the most enjoyable, because it's like all these different experiences of life in just experiencing through my psyche or through my neurology. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you. And I love that inspires you to do it. But I can absolutely see why, because you're getting by your ability to do and your methodology of actually tapping into what it feels like, even though you don't have mental health yourself. You can almost provide that empathy for that person, because you've sort of dived in what it feels like for them and what they're going through and the neurology and everything else. So then that must enhance your ability to communicate and to be able to ultimately assist them. Yeah, beautiful. I love it. What so this is a bit of a loaded question, but what are the keys, in your opinion, to happiness, peace, and being all of you?
I I did love this question. I think it's like about, like, for me it's about consciousness and like bringing awareness to the self, at least for me personally, like being able to know and discern like who I am and what I need. All those things means that I can, like, be that provider for myself, or be that, best friend, lover, partner, all those things for myself. And I think when I have that, capability, then there's like this internal peace of like non-attachment. Like, things can flow and go through my life and, and come and go. But ultimately, like, those needs are always going to be met, or I'm going to be like this pillar of safety for myself. And yeah, I think that's just like, for me, that what creates the happiness and peace, because if I'm not relying on external circumstances or external things like people or everything, then ultimately I have like the power in each moment, the self-empowerment in each moment to choose, how I respond to an experience, or how like how I experience it, or life in general. Yeah,
that's perfect. I love it, and it's so important for people out there listening that for what you just said there. We in today's world, we quite often, or we're programmed or taught to rely on external things or materials or even people to help make us provide that peace for us, and to tell us that we're good enough, and that we need that all that external influences, I guess, to bring that peace to us. But ultimately, it's up to us and as individuals to self-empower, and like you say so beautifully, it really is. It's a great thing to have, where it doesn't matter what your circumstances are or what life, and at the end of the day, life throws curveballs to us. Stuff happens.
We still want to.
Exactly. Definitely not a flat line. So when those events or circumstances happen, or even people, if we have that innate ability to remain calm, remain peace, and self-empower ourselves, we still have to deal with those things, but yeah, we can do that from a place of love and peace and compassion, rather than fear and anxiety and spiraling into that circumstance. Yeah, so well done to be so young and to have
Thank you.
to work that out, because a lot of people go through their whole lives and not really work that one out.
I think can I actually share maybe a way for people to do that as well? Because I think
do.
Even just talking about it, I'm like, I feel like maybe I've heard people say that before, but then it's like, okay, well, what do I do to kind of create that, self, I guess, reliance or detachment? But one of the things that you can do in the moment is like identifying, like, say if you're wanting something from another person, or say, I think a good one is like, say if a client's not paying you, for example, and you can go into like, why am I not receiving? And I think if you just always bring it back to yourself in the present moment of like, okay, how can I receive from myself right now? And I think doing that, whether it's receiving from someone or receiving affection, just being able to identify what it is that you're wanting from them, and then bringing it back to the self and going, oh, how can I do that for myself right now? Or how can I, if someone's not, I know like a lot of clients are like, oh, they're not responding to me, or, or they're ghosting you or whatever. And it's like, well, where's the communication that you need with yourself? And then first giving that to yourself puts you in a vibration of, you're already receiving it. So of course it may or may not, but there's more likely to come from the external once you do that as well.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Love it. Yeah. Because it all starts within, doesn't it? Yeah. And by, definitely, like you say, you're working on yourself first and foremost. And there's no guarantees in life, but you're definitely bumping up your chances of that. And ultimately, whatever the result is or isn't, you're not so much affected by that, because you have that understanding of what your expectations are. Yeah, beautiful.
Definitely.
I love that, Forreste.
Yeah.
So what's the best way for people to find you online or otherwise?
Yeah. So you put this on YouTube and Facebook.
I'll definitely put the links on. Yeah. Yep.
Yes, amazing. So yeah, maybe if people, if they find those videos, I'll have like my Instagram, forrest.love, my website as well. So we can pop those links in there for you guys. It also has like my upcoming workshops, how to work with me one-on-one. And yeah, there's a few like free resources or interviews and stuff as well. Like if you'd liked this one and want to hear more, you can find those there as well. So yeah, thank you, Billy.
Oh, I'm sure they do. No, well, thank you very much, Forreste, for joining me. It's been amazing to talk to you and listen to you speak. Without putting age into it. You're a beautiful soul, and for someone so young, and you're pregnant, so bless your beautiful child. It's going to be blessed with all your wisdom, and I'm sure you're going to learn just as much from your little boy as vice versa, won't you? So thank you. I really appreciate your time and coming on today, and sharing all your wisdom and your heart from a heart space as well. It's been really beautiful. So I'll put all those links on there for everybody down below, and so much appreciation for what you do, and not just today on the podcast, but what you're doing day to day. You're literally changing the world out there. So
stop.
No, thank you. It's beautiful. We need more and more people like yourself. So fantastic. All right, well, thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon.